that's sunshine.
Yes.
This is Calamity, and we're gonna play some more Banjo Tooie.
Yes.
We're
On the last episode, I didn't do shit. On this episode,
you got a jiggy.
I got one jiggy, but
I didn't. No.
I did.
Oh.
No.
Oh, thank you. I was really out of it last time. Nothing has changed in the past 2 minutes, so
And I didn't look up anything, so you could have pooped.
I could have given you time.
Yeah.
That's
in
not
fact,
happening now. Thanks for outing me, by the way.
What's wrong with pooping?
Nothing.
I love pooping.
I am a human with
I tell everyone
biology.
when
I am
poop.
a human
I am a human
with a normal human body.
that has the poops.
Occasionally.
Because we had breakfast this morning, and that breakfast.
I
the
love
breakfast
our
that causes
our
us
Saturday
shit.
routine. It's like my favorite thing. I
Oh
look
my
forward to
goodness,
it all week.
no! It's in
The
person.
Cave of Horrors.
No!
The Cave of Horrors.
Look how cute it is.
Cave of Horrors. Also, okay, sex tape name. We
It's
were
just about
talking.
shoving cameras up people's anuses.
Mm,
Like the whole camera, but not like the small cameras, like a phone camera or something like that. Like the 3D, like the super giant movie cameras. Yeah.
like needs an operator and the boom mic.
Those all have to go in.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It's that episode of South Park.
Yeah, it is.
Mm, poor Paris Hilton.
Let me look.
Mark your calendars. This is pretty much the only time you're ever gonna hear that phrase leave me.
Weird killer alien.
Awesome.
Let me in.
Sign me up.
Keys.
Now, are they Pleiadians? Are they Greys? Are they
Look, it's the camel.
Draconians? Sorry, Draconians aren't
Look.
aliens. They come from inside the earth. Gobi, what are
It's
you doing in there?
Gobi.
Oh, Gobi. He was going to the lava world! Yay! Gobi, I love you. You poor. Does he have a beard because
Kazooie
he's in
just
jail?
asked him for money to save him.
Kazooie, you fucking
No,
bitch.
he has a beard because he's been in jail for.
That's what I was saying. Was does he have a beard because he's been in jail, and that is how you traditionally show that someone's been in jail for a long time.
Not as a
It
ethnic
reminds me of
stereotype.
Robin Hood. What?
I said not as an ethnic stereotype.
Oh, I would hope not.
Me too.
I didn't even think of that. Now that you
Yes.
mention it.
Which I guess I don't have proof that it's not because of an ethnic stereotype.
Well, why would it be ethnic? The Gobi Desert isn't in that.
Do I need to shoot those guys?
Mm.
Oh, wrong one. I don't want to waste my explodies.
You understand?
What?
No, that's fine.
I'm not listening to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, marriage.
I'm trying to fucking get stuff done.
And
I don't remember how to play. I just want to switch to.
Oh, we were talking about horror movies last time, and
And how I blame Saw. Not because it's bad.
but so it's not Saw's fault. It's the people who went and saw Saw.
And we're like, let's all just make
Let's
gore
do it again.
films.
Or the producers who were like, you know, that film was really original and cool and people liked the concept. Let's make 6 more.
Yeah, that.
I can understand
And
being
now
frustrated at that.
98% of horror movies are like, we have to have a lot of gore,
And
that's not scary. Gore isn't scary anymore.
I don't think gore was scary to begin with.
I know. Well, it's
Well,
not shocking.
Okay, there's the exception. Okay, you want to see a movie with a lot of gore in it that's actually very haunting and creepy and like it's used to its full effect. Suspiria by David Argento.
Yeah.
He's an Italian director. I think the movie's from like 76, I want to say. It's from way back. But like that, as far back as that, they were still like, he was like, oh, the gore is used like, almost like paint or something like that, where it's symbolic, and it's really, really cool movies that he did. You know, if you want or to increase your appreciation of horror movies, you need to sit down and go through that list with me and watch the top 100 horror movies of all time.
Why would I want to grow my appreciation
Because you
for
should,
horror
because they're my
movies?
favorite.
I know they're your favorite. That's why I want to hate them.
That's
Ah,
the truth.
bitch!
The truth of it is because I'm into something, you're like, well, we've got to dislike it.
That's not true at all.
No.
In fact, only reason I know anything about horror movies is because I know you like them.
Mm-hmm.
I should probably just go inside this place. I haven't been in here.
It's been a long time since I saw a horror movie that like stuck with me though. And I think the last one I saw that like actually like really stuck with me was actually I don't feel like I should count movies about like serial killers or things like that are like more based on like real people because well, I mean if that's the case then I'd say the last one that stuck with me was The Gray Man about Albert Fish.
Yeah, I don't know.
'Cause he was a fucking boogeyman, but I think the strangers kind of creeped me out. That scene where like she's standing in the kitchen and the camera's not even focused, but if you're paying attention, you see the bad guys in the background. That's a great scene. That's a great shot.
Yeah, I think the only reason I am the way I am about horror movies is because there's so many bad ones.
Yeah. But I mean,
And
there
those
are
are the
so
ones
many
I've
bad
seen.
romantic comedies.
I don't watch romantic comedies.
Yeah.
I watch
There
horror
are
movies.
so many bad action movies.
I don't watch action movies a lot of the time anymore.
Oh, you used to.
I-
You used to like not even care if they were bad.
Uh,
We saw The Expendables 3 in theaters.
Well,
I want to
okay,
remind you
so-
of that.
I have a weird expectation of my action movie.
Mm-hmm.
You either have to be really campy, like
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
So that
You have
Expendables
to
fits into
you have
that.
to lean into how campy and kind of silly the whole
Mhm.
genre is and like lean on those tropes intentionally tongue in cheek, or you have to be just excellent.
Yeah.
There's no anything in
realistic,
between you
more
don't really give
realistic.
a shit about, but if it's intentionally campy and leaning on tropes, or if it's intentionally or like really 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 good, those are fine. I think that same thing applies to horror movies though. Cuz I like a good horror movie that can lean on the tropes like Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah.
You know, that can or Scream. The original Scream
Yeah.
was Wes Craven making fun of the genre. So, I mean that's the whole point is like the two killers who wind up but then you have just good horror movies that are good because they're good, like Suspiria or the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre and stuff like that. So,
Exorcisms.
The Exorcist, yeah. Rosemary's Baby.
I like it in there.
Which I feel conflicted
Oh,
for
I
liking
already know.
Rosemary's
I'm
Baby because Roman
stupid.
Polanski's a fucking creep. But
Kazoo, I need your body.
and like not in the good way.
Oh, yeah, get inside me.
I don't feel like you're listening to me.
What?
Nothing, it's fine.
I was listening to you.
You're fine.
Just to the best of my abilities.
Okay, what is your favorite horror movie?
My favorite horror movie. Huh.
Yeah.
That's a tough one, because I'm a hateful bitch.
You are a hateful bitch. Very picky with your films. Of any
Well-
genre, you're very picky about movies.
I'm less forgiving to horror movies.
Yeah. Which is, I think is an arbitrary thing, but I also can't fault you for it.
So
Because
in a
I'm
horror
pickier
movie-
about, like, action movies.
In a horror movie, I want to be scared.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for horror movies,
Now, what type of scared? Jump scared, or like I leave it and I'm still creeped out
That
and
one.
I like
That
look
one.
over my shoulder
That one.
scared? Okay.
I
I
gotta
think a
be-
horror movie should have a mix of both.
jump scares are cheap though and easy.
But they're fun.
Yes.
Jump scares are fun. Jump
They're-
scares are why I.
Yes, they're fun, but also one of the easiest things to do.
Yeah.
I think some YouTube shorts are actually a lot better.
Yes.
Like that one where the guy's like, "Oh, the house is haunted," and
the hands and stuff are coming out of the room, and
Uh-huh.
that one's creepy.
Or
as
the
fuck.
one where the face is under the bed.
yeah, that one.
That one's really
the
creepy.
little short clips now,
those-
they're like
those
couple
are-
seconds long, are better than
They're
most
great.
full-length horror movies.
Or just the atmosphere you can get, which I think is part of why I really like horror video games, is because like it's atmosphere, you're immersed in it, and then there are jump scares.
Yeah.
But
The only problem with horror video games is a lot of them suck.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get like well, not anymore anyways. AAA titles that are just straight up horror games. They don't happen very often
No.
anymore. You got like Resident Evil, Evil Within, but Evil Within's more of an action
game.
Yeah, Evil Within's more actiony
I
with
didn't think it
like
was
sci-fi
scary
or
at all.
horror elements, and I think I don't know if Resident Evil has really been horror, with the
Well,
exception of the
the
most
newest
recent
one,
one.
yeah,
The most recent one was pretty scary, or like there were scares in it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the most recent one was more gross than scary, but that's also better than actiony, like in sci-fi. Um, but no, like So I think jump scares are important though
Yeah.
in a horror movie, because if a horror movie is only just atmospheric, there's no payoff.
Well, yeah.
You
have
have to
build
have
up
a
to
scare.
something.
Um,
But that a lot of them, like Paranormal Activity, is like takes too long to build up.
yeah, you don't want something to be too slow of a burn. You liked Woman in Black with Daniel Radcliffe, that ghost story.
I like the first one.
Yeah, the second one not so much. The second one was fine. It was an okay horror movie, but the first one I thought was really good, and I liked the original, which is fun tidbit here as a horror movie fan and Harry Potter fan. The original Woman in Black, the guy who played the father in that film, or the main character in that film, played Harry Potter's father, and then decades later, Daniel Radcliffe played the same character. So the guy who played James Potter and the guy who played Harry Potter both played the same character decades apart.
I didn't look at the score I had to get to win.
This is making me dizzy. Thank you for reminding me to take Dramamine.
Told you. Oh, I guess Atlantis was posted
Last night, yeah.
last night. Oh dear, what a pathetically low score that was. No prize for you.
What were you supposed to get?
I don't remember. I probably said.
Do the red ones count against you, or are they worth more, or what?
They're worth 1. That's why there's so many of them.
Oof. Oh, wow, that's making me dizzy.
It makes me dizzy too.
But see, there are also movies I think are good horror movies that didn't really scare me that much.
Like what?
The first Texas Chainsaw Massacre, for example. Like, it's cringy. There are moments in it where I'm like, ugh. But I wouldn't say it scared me. You know?
Yeah.
Or there are movies that are horrific, but that I wouldn't say, like, scared me. But I guess that horrificness or how horrifying they are kind of lingers with you. Like, the Last House on the Left. Like, pretty graphic and definitely stays with you.
Yeah.
But also, I wouldn't say super scary.
Like what?
Last House on the Left.
Last House on the Left.
Very graphic 1970s shot of a rape scene.
Oh yeah.
So some of those films, but then also I can get enjoyment out of the worst horror movies.
See,
I've seen Ghost Ship no less than 3 times.
I hate. We were talking about action movies.
in how at one point in time I did actually like a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't anymore. I can't watch a lot of
of the movies that
Bourne
you like.
Ultimatum.
Oh no.
the Bourne games. Any of those are shit. I don't care who you are or how
Matt
good you
Damon.
think they are. I hate any movie that's like, and this one character is just
Yeah.
the best at what they do, and they can predict everything everyone's going.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you think of superhero movies as separate, right? They are their own genre now.
because they have superpowers.
Yeah. I was just clarifying. Like, I would think of the Avengers and the DC universe, as pathetic as it is, as separate from like action movies.
Yeah, they're a different type of action. They're superhero movies.
Yeah. But at the same time, you get I get enjoyment out of kind of the cheesier, badder, older horror movies. I think you can get the same enjoyment out of the cheesier, badder action movies because
There's, like
you
Commando.
adore
Yeah, but that was
those type.
that was when it was
early Arnold
starting.
Schwarzenegger is like your favorite.
That's
almost.
when it was all like getting started, though.
I think, and here's where the genres kind of converge. My love and your love, the Alien franchise.
I love Aliens.
And by franchise, I mean Alien and Aliens.
Aliens is an action movie.
Yes. And Alien was a
Well-
horror movie.
Well, it was kind of both.
Yeah.
Both are a
They're
little bit
both kind of both, but one leans a little more one way, one leans a little more the other, and we love them both. They're held those two films are held sacred in this house. And the Predator franchise,
I like.
because it's action, but it's also horror, because you are being hunted.
I feel like I like Predator a lot more than you.
I think you're right, but I still enjoy it. Like of the two of them, I like Alien better than
Aliens-
Predator as far as movies to watch.
Controversial opinion. Not really. Probably not. Anyways, Alien and Aliens is better than
They're better films,
Predator.
but
Predator.
the
is not-
Predators are cooler. Well, I don't even mean that because I love xenomorphs so much. Can we play Alien Isolation on the channel? I know you've played it.
We'll have to buy it, I think.
Oh yeah, because you don't have it anymore.
It was back when I was selling games.
Oh my god, I love that game.
We can go grab it.
It's so creepy. That game has the same thing going for it as Outlast does to me.
Yeah.
Because it's you are defenseless.
No, you're not.
Not in Aliens, but like really, really
I mean,
for the
you
xenomorphs.
can't kill the xenomorphs.
Exactly. And you know, fuck the other people. You know, fuck the robots or the other
I mean, you do
people.
get like guns and stuff, but you can't use those to kill the.
Exactly. So to me, it kind of
Let
has
me
that
turn
same
this
thing
thing
that
off.
Outlast and Outlast 2 have, where it's like, this is scary because for the most part you're defenseless, and it's just how fast are you, how good are you at hiding.
Yeah.
How stealthy can you be? And those types of games that have you on edge as the player, I live for it. And that's what I want out of a good like horror movie, is something to give me that feel. So it's been a long time since I watched a film that was like that, so I just lean on horror games now.
There's a lot of horror games like that, though.
No, but I mean,
I
I
wish
can
there
just
were.
go back and do Outlast, you
I
know.
wanna turn the pump off. I need to turn the pump off.
We were talking about, I guess we should talk about video games since this is a Let's Play channel. We were talking about the other night how Outlast 2 and Far Cry 5 took almost the same idea of like an American cult
Yeah.
and took them in
I think
two
that's-
different directions.
I think one did it a lot better, honestly.
Well, I think it's apples and oranges
Yeah,
the way they did it.
But oh shit, I'm an idiot. I
But,
saw this earlier and everything.
And I don't really remember a lot of Outlast 2 because we
Outlast
watched
2's
it like all at once.
Problem for me was that it was trying to be too shocking, and everything was just completely overboard.
And I think that's because they were trying to live up to the original Outlast, which was shocking, but I feel like it was effortlessly shocking.
Yeah, and they kind of skipped the sci-fi end of it.
Yeah.
They implied that there was
A sci-fi end of it,
Mhm.
but that's not.
And I
know.
kind of wish that they hadn't gone to the sci-fi end of it.
I wanted
You know?
them to, because that's what made Outlast different.
Or that if they had, they'd been more explicit about it, or if they'd leaned on the religious end of it.
Well,
Like the more supernatural
they
end of
leaned
it.
on the religious end a lot.
But I don't think they did it explicitly enough. You know?
We'll have to agree to disagree.
But I
The
think
ending,
we
Do you
can
remember the ending or not?
Mm,
The whole thing was about the Antichrist being
Yeah.
born. That's the hardcore religion, and that's fine.
so I like that
But in the first one, it was like
it was
Wall
sci-fi.
Rider,
I
it's like
enjoyed
this-
the sci-fi.
This paranormal sci-fi
I liked the
end of
sci-fi.
it, but this one they were like, let's make it straight religious. It's gonna be a crazy cult.
You're right. I think they should have leaned more on the sci-fi then, or been
Everyone's
more explicit about it.
diseased. Which I don't even mind the diseased bit.
No,
Ill.
yeah, the cult in Outlast reminds me more of the
That one,
Children of God kind
Yeah.
of.
that one is definitely in the realm of fantasy.
Mhm.
Like it.
Whereas up until the end of Far Cry
Yeah.
5, it's definitely like rooted in
could
reality.
feel
I
like
think
that
it,
could
it
happen.
felt like it felt real because it was very Branch Davidian to me.
Yeah.
We're Branch Davidian, Jonestowny, People's Temple. But yeah,
Okay, I gotta get this little bitch some fries.
the cult from what?
I said I can get the little bitch some fries.
The cult from Outlast reminded me more of like the Children of God,
Yeah.
kind of, where it's like perverted and gross.
Rapey.
Yeah. Bummer. Yeah, no, sorry. It's like there are some, being into true crime and weirdness and cults and stuff like that, there are some times where I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, it's like the British Davidians or like the People's Temple or whatever. And then there's some times where I'm like, oh, Children of God. Gross. Yeah. You say don't fuck the bee. Don't touch your children. I shouldn't have to say that. Like, it's so gross. Oh, Kazooie, sometimes you make me laugh. Is that a really skinny squirrel?
I think so.
Because it's also giving me weasel vibes. There's a squirrel out.
I think it's a weasel.
You pointed out to me the other day that one of the squirrels that lives in the tree outside our door doesn't have a tail.
Yeah.
It's so sad. I think it's the hawk. What'd you name the hawk?
Gregory.
We have a hawk that lives outside the
watched him
apartment
get a bunny.
named Gregory.
Well, I saw him get a bunny, and I was like, what? We also have an owl that lives around here, and it flew in front of my truck, and I was like, it's beautiful.
Yeah, you're like, it's beautiful. I'm like, you're cursed now.
It's only
Like,
during the day that I have to worry about being cursed.
yeah.
But it wasn't during the day, it was at night.
Yeah, it was at night. But still, I'm like, owls are so fucking cool.
I love owls.
What's funny is you said that you saw an owl, and I thought for a second you were giving me crap. Because when we lived in Stillwater at our first apartment complex, the office by the pool had one of those ceramic owls.
Yeah, you also did the same thing.
At the McDonald's
at
in
the
Stillwater,
McDonald's.
also had one of those ceramic owls that they used to like scare away more pesty birds.
Yeah.
And like in both places within like a week of one another, I was like, "Oh, look, an owl!" And you're like, "Are you fucking stupid? Those aren't real, Katie."
Yeah,
So
they're not real.
so
You have to
years
keep
after the
pests away.
fact, every time you're like, "Oh, hey, look, an owl," I'm like, "You're giving me shit," and then you're like, "No, I'm serious. There was an owl at the apartment complex." So I like owls.
I love owls. They're
Mhm.
better than birds. All birds.
I like
Except-
owls are freaking cool. You like birds of prey.
I like all. I like all birds. I like all animals. There's not an animal that I'm just like, fuck you.
It's what I call the sunshine effect.
The
All
sunshine
animals
effect.
and small children love you.
I hate small.
You
children.
hate small children.
Excluding like 4, but
4 of them.
sometimes even.
And
more.
even then, sometimes you're like, Thomas, and get
One's
off me.
a baby, so I don't really have to like.
You
the
can't-
Baby.
She's adorable.
Just because
with
you're
her
adorable
tongue
doesn't
out.
mean I have to like you. And yes,
Oh
that
my
was cute.
god, she's so cute. My niece
She
is
gets
the
an award for
best. I could gush about her all day. She's so cute and so
Um,
sweet and so well behaved.
I need to.
As long as her
go
mom's within eyesight.
eyesight, yeah. Otherwise, she freaks the fuck out.
When we saw them last weekend and she like reached out for me and screamed, I was like, "Yay!"
And then she realized
She
her
let
mom
me
was
hold
dying
her
and was
for
like,
less
"Fuck
than a minute,
you!"
and then she was like, "I want back to my mom now." But I was like,
But
"That's fine, that's fine.
God.
I got to hold her for a little bit. It's cool." And then she sticks her tongue out to feel the wind. It's the cutest thing.
All right.
Sweetie.
So I'm
You
gonna
want to do this
some,
next time?
I'm gonna do some shit as a car real fast. And then
Do it next time?
Yeah, next time.
Yay! Check out our social media. Like, comment, subscribe. Sunshine, do you have any advice for anybody today?
Well, right now Banjo's ass is really jiggly.
Look at him
that bounce.
twerking.
Look at that bounce.
Look at that.